Steam rose from the copper tub, swirling like morning mist around the dimly lit cabin. The scent of cedar wood and soap clung to the air. Outside, the wind howled through the canyon, carrying dust and secrets across the plains. Inside, one man, Jack Hollister, the richest rancher in Dakota Territory, leaned back in his bath, eyes closed, body aching from a week's ride through wild country. He thought he was alone, but fate, that wicked little spirit of the West, had other plans. Because that same night, a young woman, barefoot, trembling, her pale dress torn by briars, stumbled through the dark woods behind his cabin. Her name was Clara Mayfield, daughter of a ruined preacher, and tonight she was running for her life. The men chasing her weren't after her money, she had none. They wanted her innocence, and in the cruel corners of frontier towns, that was worth more than gold. She didn't see the light flickering through the cabin window until she nearly crashed into the door. Rain soaked her hair, thunder cracked above, and when she pushed the latch, it gave way. She slipped inside, gasping, desperate. Steam greeted her first, warm, thick, blinding. Then her foot hit a wet plank. She lost balance, and fell headfirst into the copper bath. Water splashed everywhere. Jack's eyes flew open. "What in God's name?" he roared, grabbing the edge of the tub as a flailing, screaming girl surfaced in front of him. Clara gasped. I'm sorry. I thought, oh heavens, I didn't mean." Jack stood so fast the water sloshed over the sides. "You fell in my damn bath." His voice thundered, but his eyes, icy gray beneath dripping curls, were full of shock more than fury. The girl turned crimson, clutching her soap dress against her chest. Her lashes trembled like the wings of a hummingbird. "Please, sir, I didn't know anyone was here. I just needed shelter, I swear." He could see the terror in her. Her lips trembled, her body shivered in the candlelight, and despite himself, Jack felt something tighten inside him, something unfamiliar. "Who are you?" he asked roughly. She hesitated. Clara Mayfield." He noticed then, the faint purple bruise along her wrist, the torn hem, the fear that lingered in her eyes, as if she expected him to strike her. He grabbed the towel, tossed it to her. "Get out of there before you drown, Miss Mayfield." She scrambled up, coughing, dripping. The towel barely covered her, and she turned away in shame. Jack's jaw clenched. He wasn't used to this kind of situation. He'd seen plenty of women, bold ones who knew what they wanted. But this one, she looked untouched by Sinner City, like she'd fallen straight out of heaven and into his bath. "Who's after you?" he asked after a moment. She froze. "You wouldn't believe me. Try me." Outside, a horse whinnied in the distance, then another. Hooves on the ridge. Her voice dropped to a whisper. "They're here." Jack moved fast, pulling on his shirt, his gun belt. "How many?" "3, maybe 4. He opened the window a crack. Lantern lights bobbed through the trees, men's laughter cutting through the wind. "You best stay low," he said. "If they're hunting you, they'll find no mercy here." Clara sank beside the tub, clutching the towel around her. "They said I belonged to them," she whispered. "Said my pa owed them for his debt, and I was the payment." Jack's blood ran cold. "You some kind of indentured girl?" Her eyes glistened. "No, sir, just poor." He'd seen evil on the frontier, men who'd sell a horse, a friend, even a woman for a handful of coins. But this was different. This was filth. When the first knock rattled the door, Jack's eyes went hard. A deep voice boomed, "Open up, Hollister. We're looking for a girl, ran this way. You seen her?" Jack's hand rested on his revolver. "No girl here," he called back, calm as a loaded gun. "Only me, and a whole lot of trouble if you keep knocking." "Don't lie to us, Cowboy. She's ours." Jack's smile turned sharp. "She fell into my bath tonight, boys. That makes her mine, not yours." He opened the door just enough to show his Colt, gleaming in the firelight. The men hesitated. They knew his name. Jack Hollister owned half the valley, and every inch of his land was guarded by men who didn't miss. One of them spat. "You're making a mistake, Hollister." "Maybe," Jack said, "but I'll sleep better than you tonight." The doors slammed shut. Silence fell except for the rain. When he turned, Clara was watching him with wide, tearful eyes. "You shouldn't have done that," she whispered. "They'll come back. I'm counting on it," he said, loading his rifle. "Men like that don't deserve to breathe long." She stood then, trembling. "Why are you helping me?" He looked at her for a long moment, his jaw tight. Because when you fell in that bath, I smelled something I haven't smelled in years." She frowned. "What?" "The truth," he said softly. "Something pure, something worth keeping." She didn't understand, but she felt it. The way he looked at her wasn't hunger. It was something deeper. The storm raged through the night. Jack kept watch by the window while Clara dried her hair by the fire, wrapped in his shirt. He could hear her quiet sobs, the crackle of wood, the whisper of her prayers. He'd buried 2 brothers in this land, built an empire on loneliness. Never once thought love could crawl through his walls like this, unexpected, soaking wet, smelling of rain and innocence. When dawn came, the valley was white with fog. The riders had left tracks, but no courage to return. Jack saddled his horse, turned to Clara. "You can ride south, cross the river. They won't follow." She shook her head. "And where would I go? I've got no kin left, no name worth using." He studied her, the morning light turning her hair to gold. "You could stay," he said quietly. "The ranch is big, always room for one more soul who's lost her way." Her lips parted. "You'd keep me here." He stepped closer, brushing a strand of hair from her cheek. "You fell into my life, Clara. I ain't letting you fall out again." Her heart thudded. She wanted to believe him, but the world had never been kind. "What if they come back?" she asked. "Then they'll find I'm a man who doesn't give up what's his." He tipped her chin up. Their eyes met, blue meeting gray, storm meeting calm. For the first time, she saw the gentleness beneath his roughness. And for the first time, he felt something he couldn't explain. Not lust, not pity, but claim. Weeks passed. The valley warmed, spring sliding into summer. Clara learned to milk cows, mend fences, laugh again. Jack never touched her without asking, never forced her to be more than she was ready for. But sometimes, when the sun went down and she'd hum by the window, he'd watch her and think, "That's what peace looks like." Until one night, gunfire. The sound shattered the quiet. Clara screamed. Jack ran from the barn, rifle in hand. Shadows moved by the fence. 3 riders, the same men, come back for what they'd lost. He fired once. One fell. The others turned and galloped, but not before a bullet grazed Jack's shoulder. Clara rushed out, eyes wild. "Jack," he grunted, pressing a hand to the wound. "Just a scratch." She tore her skirt, bound his arm, hands shaking. "You risked your life again, for me." He smiled faintly. "Told you, sweetheart, you fell in my bath. That made you mine." Tears filled her eyes. "You don't even know me." He touched her cheek. "Don't need to. The heart don't ask names when it knows what it wants." The moon rose over the cabin, silver light spilling across the valley. She leaned closer, her breath mingling with his. He whispered, "Clara, yes. Do you trust me?" She nodded. "With everything I've got." He kissed her then, not like a man claiming a woman, but like a man thanking heaven for sending her. And in that kiss, something changed. The girl who'd run from monsters became the woman who stood beside a man strong enough to protect her. The man who'd sworn never to love again found the one scent he'd been missing all his life, the sweetness of innocence, courage, in rain. By morning, the whole valley knew Hollister's cabin had a new mistress. Not bought, not borrowed, chosen. And when they asked him later why he'd risked his fortune, his name, his peace, for a girl who'd fallen into his bath, he just smiled and said, "Because sometimes the Lord drops what you need right into your water. And when that happens, a man be a fool not to keep her forever." The wind carried his laughter across the plains. The bath still sat by the fire, gleaming like memory. And if you passed by on a quiet night, you might swear you could hear 2 voices, soft, teasing, full of love that even the Wild West couldn't wash away. Because some stories don't start with a wedding or a kiss. They start with a fall. And the sweetest scent of all was hers.